Tonight on Evening Magazine.
Mayday, mayday. Vessel calling, mayday. This is U.S. Coast Guard Group Astoria.
Trapped inside a sinking boat.
And then I was completely underwater and it was upside down.
Can the Coast Guard get to this fishing boat crew in time?
Am I the only one alive?
John Stofflet with the story of this dramatic Northwest rescue. If you think Key Arena is hopping during a basketball game or concert, wait till you see the place long after the crowds go home. See why in the middle of the night, the real action comes to the Key. From Elvis to Yanni, Jim Dever is on the lookout for lookalikes.
Has anyone ever told you you look like Yanni? Yes.
You'll be seeing double on this week's Double Take. In high definition, it's Evening Magazine for Tuesday, July 27th. Now, here's your host, John Curley.
Evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. If over the weekend you said to yourself, man, the weather is so great, I wish I was a boat owner, and we got something cool for you. Come on aboard. Okay, what's the first thing you notice? No, not my wrinkly shirt. It's the fact that we're going, but we're not making any noise because the motor is electric. That's right. It gets about 8 knots, which is just about as fast as you want to go around here, and you go for about 10 to 15 hours. It's a new company on the water called Electric Boat Company, and they've given us this boat for the day to sort of tour around. You can fit 12 of your friends on here, and we're having a fairly nice time. I would say this is some good pleasure boating. For some guys from Astoria, the word pleasure and boating were not in the same sentence on one particular day. John Stofflet has the story.
Vessel calling, mayday. This is Coast Guard Astoria, roger.
I took a suck and a half of air and then I was completely underwater and it was upside down.
Where are the people? We see survival suits, we see debris, we don't see any people.
3 fishermen struggle to stay alive in the icy waters of the Columbia River Bar. Can Coast Guard crews save the men from becoming victims of the graveyard of the Pacific?
It's just like, am I the only one alive?
February 15th, near the mouth of the Columbia River off Washington's coast. The 75-foot fishing trawler Blue Max is heading back to shore loaded with fish when water begins swamping the stern and the boat starts to roll.
I told him that we were in peril, and he immediately got on the radio.
Mayday, mayday. Vessel calling, mayday. This is U.S. Coast Guard Group Astoria. What is your current position and nature of distress, over?
The wall started blowing up, the boat started rolling over, and I said, we're rolling over.
Yeah, roger. I'm rolling over now.
And the water was coming in just like the Poseidon event. It really happens like that. It really, really happens like that. The wall blew out, and then the 2 windows behind me exploded, and there was a whole lot of light because I could see the water coming across the top of the house.
Coast Guard helicopter and boat crews respond to the mayday, while Case struggles underwater, trying desperately to find his way out of the rapidly sinking boat.
I hovered for a minute, just kind of because I didn't know which way was up. I was scared if anybody else made it. I was worried about thought of losing somebody.
Somehow his fellow crew members have managed to swim free of the sinking boat as well. But now each must struggle through the icy water to try to make it to the boat's life raft. Coast Guard helicopter pilot Captain Tom Sparks knows there's no time to spare.
Certainly, you know there's people in trouble, and because of the water temperatures out here on the Oregon and Washington coast, it's pretty important that we get them out of the water as soon as we can.
Also rushing to the scene, coxswain Chris Rosen and his motor lifeboat crew from the Cape Disappointment Coast Guard Station.
Yeah, your heart really starts going. A lot of adrenaline starts pumping.
And just as we got on scene, the boat was just starting to sink. The last bit of the hull that was exposed was going under, and we didn't see any person clinging to the hull or immediately in the vicinity of it. So our first concern was, where are all the people?
Fortunately, all 3 men have made it into the life raft, where they huddle together cold and wet.
I seen that helicopter on the horizon. You want to know what God said? It's like, yes!
So we immediately deployed our rescue swimmer. He swam over to the raft and gave us a call on the radio right back that everybody's here in the raft.
Back up on the starboard bow on 300 yards.
The motor lifeboat crew also arrives on scene.
We could see him in the life raft. The flap was open. We could see him in the life raft as we were maneuvering up there to get alongside him. They all looked very cold. They were pretty much all in T-shirts and jeans.
One by one, the men are lifted onto the Coast Guard boat. survivors of a sinking that could easily have claimed their lives.
The men are rushed back to the Cape Disappointment Coast Guard station where an ambulance takes them to a nearby hospital. Even though they've been in 45-degree water, miraculously, they only have a mild case of hypothermia.
Today, Greg and Pete are very grateful for all the Coast Guard crews did to help them.
They're nothing more than great.
That's a big reason why a lot of us are here, because we want to help, and it's just a great, overwhelming feeling when you're able to accomplish something like that.
And the fishermen have a new appreciation for life, having survived the fury of a sea that has taken the lives of so many of their friends.
I can count over 30 people that I've lost that are friends, and it's tough. So that's what I'm just grateful that everybody lived.
Puts you a little closer in touch with the people that you love and the things you should say in life, because although I've been at sea a long time, it only takes an instant to check out. Yeah, I feel very fortunate that all the numbers clicked. It was daytime, the Coast Guard were there, and we all did what we had to do to survive.
Luckily for Mr. Case and the rest of the crew, his Mayday call was answered so quickly because the Coast Guard just happened to be in the area doing some training. Oh my, Daryl, did you hear that? I almost forgot. It's Free Ticket Tuesday! Yeah, all right. Don Henley. Now that guy can sing. He's coming to Chateau Saint Michel on the 5th of August. You don't want to miss Don Henley. Man, does that guy put on a concert. We've got a bunch of free tickets we're going to give away a little later on in the show, but just want to let you know it is Free Ticket Tuesday. We're going to continue our tour with our electric boat from our friends at the Electric Boat Company. Plus, we'll come right back. It is the coolest club in town, a hip, happening night spot, the Triple Door. We'll show you what happened to the Triple Door a number of years ago right after this.
The Northwest is chock full of celebrities. That is, if you don't look too close. Jim Dever goes in search of famous lookalikes. Later on the show.
Welcome back, everyone. If the noise and the fumes of owning a boat are too much for you, how about this? This is an electric boat, and we're going to move forward a little bit. Our friends from the Electric Boat Company lent us this one for the day, and they also said, hey, here's a really cool book called Cleats and Eats. It shows you all the wonderful restaurants that are all around all the different lakes, and you could simply pull right on up there and dock and have yourself a wonderful lunch or dinner. We wanted to take you to a very interesting place. It's called the Triple Door, and that's where we've been shooting Gimme the Mic. Now, a lot of people are like, where is that place? It's incredible looking. Well, it's got an amazing history, too.
We just liked that whole concept of what was behind the door.
Tucked behind not one, not two, but 3 doors is one of Seattle's hidden hotspots.
The name really comes from the doors you can see right behind me here, 3 sets of 3 doors, hence the triple door. And as you get further into the space, it keeps opening up, and you never know quite what is going to be happening down there.
When the Triple Door opened its doors in September, it concluded a 20-year labor of love to bring back some of the city's musical history.
It was the last historic theater in downtown Seattle to be revived or destroyed.
Beginning as a venue for vaudeville acts in the 1920s, it was known as the Embassy Theater and hosted performers such as young jazz legend named Ernestine Anderson.
She came here to recently play in the last 6 months, and as she was descending down the stairs, she looked around and she said something to our production people and said, you know, I've been here before. And as she got down on stage, she finally realized that she had played in this particular theater when she was 16 years old.
After moving from vaudeville to motion pictures to XXX Club in the 1960s, the Embassy Theater eventually closed its doors in 1982.
What a transformation. You can't believe what it used to look like before, because it had been run down. Even when it was originally constructed, it hadn't been maintained.
Now revived as the Triple Door, the theater combines the era of the old with the ambiance of the new.
Well, you can see here we have our 2,000-gallon freshwater aquarium, and this lights up at night. It's really beautiful. Kind of gives a whole glow to the lounge area here.
A hot spot also wouldn't be a hip spot without standard VIP rooms.
And here you get to see, it's for private events here. You seat 8 people. You have your own sound controls, lighting controls, glassed in front. So you can see out, but they can't necessarily see in.
Out of the old comes something new, and the Triple Door hopes its theater will bring together music lovers, both old and new.
When you see it here, you won't forget it.
The Triple Door, now that is an amazing place, and we're so lucky to have them as our venue. To find out more about the Triple Door, go to king5.com. They put on great shows there. You get a whole list of everybody who's coming and going. One show you will not see, it happens at the Key Arena when everybody's asleep.
While you're fast asleep tonight, the Key Arena at Seattle Center is already getting dressed for tomorrow.
0001 is when we start, 1 minute past midnight. We start laying the floor piece by piece.
Troy Clark leads the crew,
conductor of the orchestra,
that transforms the Key night after night.
People come in here and they see a finished product, and they're like, oh, you know, maybe they pushed a button and everything just turned over to whatever it is.
Basketball, hockey, and concerts each require their own floor and seating arrangements, a complete flip-flop that occurs about 150 times a year.
It mind boggles you.
Little do most basketball fans realize their favorite hoop stars are playing with ice beneath their feet.
So it is like a, 10 to 15 degrees cooler on the floor here than it was if you go up on the third story. We actually put an inch-thick insulated floor down.
The ice may be thinner than you think.
Typically for hockey, they like it around 3/4 to 5/8 inch thick, and they like a very cold ice, 9 to 11 degrees.
The colorful logos are painted on well before the final layer of ice is added. What the stripes are made of may surprise you.
The stripes are composed of like tissue paper that we roll out to make the blue stripes, red stripes, and end zones.
Leftover seats, flooring for the men's and women's basketball teams, and plexiglass for hockey games are all kept beneath the north stands.
Everything has their place,
Ready for changeovers that can be staged in as little as 4 hours.
To get the building playing, set up for hockey, and open doors for another show.
A key performance on the Northwest Night Shift.
According to the city of Seattle, the owners of Key Arena, they say to clean up and to change over the Key costs $10,000. We'll take a break, and I've lost my script. Cody, get my script. Get it. That's what tells me what's coming up on the next story. This is what tells me what's coming up next on the show. Oh, okay. A Jim Dever lookalike. They say somewhere in the world there's someone who looks just like you. Jim Dever goes in search of that person right after this.
Whose name do you say first when you're introducing two people to each other? What are you supposed to say when you answer the phone? Our well-mannered Jim Dever reveals the answers to your etiquette questions tomorrow on the show.
Welcome back, and we're just cruising all around Lake Union in our electric boat from our friends at Electric Boat Company. I didn't mention, did I, that it's $75 an hour to go out there and enjoy yourself in a beautiful way to see Lake Union. And you can go all the way into Lake Washington as well and come on back. You'll have a wonderful time. They say somewhere in the world there's someone who looks just like you, exactly like you. Jim Dever finds that you don't have to go all over the world to find your look-alike.
Hey, do you look like anyone?
Gary Coleman.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that a lot. What you talking about, Willis?
Who do you look like?
My sister. Patsy Kinson from Lethal Weapon 2. Oh my God, they're gonna blow up the whole place.
Who do you look like?
Well, people say when I got my hair really trimmed nice and everything, I look like Elvis.
The young Elvis or the old Elvis? Traffic lady looks like Sharon Stone. Maybe Lionel Richie?
No.
Mr. Bruce Willis.
Thank you.
You look like someone.
Yeah, I look like Ralph Macchio.
There we go.
That's Ralph Macchio.
Wow.
What are the two of you doing together? We stepped into something here. I've been told that a guy who works here at the Columbia Athletic Club by the name of Dave Carroll looks just like television Superman Dean Cain. Let's find out.
Here I am.
You think he really does look like Superman?
Oh yeah, he's gorgeous, and Superman's gorgeous.
You ever start to feel really inadequate? What do you think about him? You're a little intimidated, aren't
Yeah,
you?
I am.
Is it Superman that's doing it or my microphone? All right, well, what I'd like to do is run you through a couple of tests, all right? little test now to check your X-ray vision. What color are my pants?
Blue.
Sorry, that was a trick question. I'm completely naked. Onward to the next look-alike. There's one. Man, that guy looks just like Yanni. Has anyone ever told you you look like Yanni?
Yes. I think I look more like Brad Pitt.
That's it. With your face covered, you're JFK Jr. Now pull him away. Now you're back to Yanni. Could you sound like Yanni? Is there any way to do that? That's beautiful. Do you like Yanni music?
No.
Who do you look like?
Huh?
Who do you look like?
People tell me the Evening Magazine guy, but I don't see it.
Who is that bozo?
Jim Dever and some of his favorite lookalikes. I know every time we do this story, someone always writes in and says, my wife has an OBGYN that looks just like you. And we called him and we came up with a kooky idea. So let's switch jobs just for the day. And then we thought better about it. Hey, we're going to give those tickets away to see Don Henley. He's coming to the Chateau Ste. Michelle. That'd be a wonderful way to spend the evening on the 5th of August. We'll do that. Plus, we'll talk to you more about the Electric Boat Company right after this. You made the right decision on the OBGYN thing. Welcome back, everyone. As promised, let's give those tickets away to Don Henley coming to the Chateau Ste. Michelle on the 5th of August. 206-421-5558. We got a whole bunch of tickets. And while you're dialing and hoping to win, pay attention to what Dr. Phil has to say.
Our tip today has to do with the formula for success in a relationship, and it definitely is a formula. The quality of your relationship is going to be a function of the extent to which it is based on a solid underlying friendship and the extent to which it meets the needs of both people in the relationship. And let's talk about friendship for a minute. You need to ask yourself, how much fun are you to live with? I mean, just ask yourself on a day-to-day basis, are you interesting to be around? Are you optimistic? Do you bring something positive to the situation whenever you arrive? Know for sure that if you want a good friend, you need to be a good friend. And if you're sitting there feeling a void, know that the best way to fill your heart is to give away that which you need the most.
Thanks, Dr. Phil. You can watch Dr. Phil on Kong TV, 616 at 8 o'clock. Never miss a Monday through Friday. Hey, here's a great recommendation for you. Call the folks at the Electric Boat Company. Tell them you want to get the boat, but tell them you would like to also have them cater something. They could pick up a little brown bag lunch for you. It'd be a great way to spend some time with your friends out on the lake. Let me show you what's coming up tomorrow on the show.
Whoa, what's going on here?
She sounds like this now, but she used to sound like this.
May 20th. Curdy turns 41 years old.
Find out how they're changing their voices from male to female with the help of the unique UW program. For 16 years, John Olerud has been a star on the field.
The Mariners are on their way to the American League Championship!
But these days, the former Mariner is just happy to be alive.
I looked down at my feet and my legs started getting heavy, and that's the last thing I remember.
John Olerud's brush with death and the doctor who saved his life. Stand up straight, chew with your mouth closed, and give a good firm handshake.
Wow, that's some handshake. Oh my goodness.
Jim Dever shares the do's and don'ts at Etiquette School.
That's what's coming up on tomorrow night's show. This is the end of tonight's show. If you want to find out more about the Electric Boat Company, go to king5.com. We'll link you over to their site. Terrific group of people. You'll have a wonderful time. Just find yourself 10 friends. You want to get back on again, Daryl?
Sure.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm John Curley. We'll see you tomorrow.